From people that made their billions through Ponzi schemes to billionaires defrauding investors and getting sentenced to life behind bars, we take a look at 10 billionaires who have served time in prison. Number 10. R. Allen Stanford. One of the biggest snakes to work in the financial business, Robert Allen Stanford starts off our list, having concocted a Ponzi scheme that has left many people broke to this day. While those defrauded in other Ponzi schemes have been reimbursed, Stanford's victims have been less fortunate. His company boasted high returns for investors for years, but when American authorities investigated in 2009, they discovered that Stanford's company was nothing more than an $8 million lie. In 2012, he was sentenced to 110 years in prison. Number 9. Thomas Kwok. The man behind the largest real estate developer in Hong Kong, Sun Hong Kai Properties, which he and his brothers inherited from their father, Thomas and brother Raymond, were accused of bribing Raphael Hui, Hong Kong's #2 government official, back in 2012, and while Raymond was acquitted, Thomas was convicted of conspiracy along with Hui. He is set to serve a 5-year sentence and was fined $500,000. Number 8. Ding Yuxin. A Chinese businesswoman, Ding Yuxin, was sentenced to 20 years behind bars back in 2013 for having issued massive bribes to Liu Jin, China's former railway minister. This is just one example of Chinese officials and business people being jailed for corrupt activity, as the government has cracked down on such in recent years. Yuxin has been operated many businesses in previous decades, building an empire essentially out of nothing, but it was her bribery of Jin that became her undoing, as all of her assets were seized by the government. Number 7. Bernie Ebbers. The Canadian-born former billionaire was the owner and founder of WorldCom, the massive telecommunications company that became the center of a massive accounting scandal back in the early 2000s. He defrauded investors, violating security laws, and in 2005, he was found guilty of 9 charges. His crimes were conspiracy, securities fraud, and issuing false statements to securities regulators. He is serving a 25-year sentence and will not be released until 2028, at which point he will be in his late 80s. Number 6. Raj Rajaratnam. Seeking a better quality of life than increasingly violent Sri Lanka, J.M. Rajaratnam relocated his family from Colombo to the United Kingdom. His son, Rajakumaran, received his education in Britain and would go on to receive an MBA from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He became a lender and went on to found Galleon Group, a hedge fund which he would use to become worth $1.5 billion. He was arrested in 2009 for alleged insider trading, and in 2011 he was found guilty of conspiracy and securities fraud. He was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Number 5. Bernie Madoff. Possibly the biggest fraud in history, Bernie Madoff is currently serving a prison sentence of 150 years for the biggest Ponzi scheme the world has ever known. He screwed investors out of everything, ultimately being worth around $20 billion at the height of his wealth. Now, he is worth next to nothing as he rots in prison. His 2 sons have also died since his arrest, one having committed suicide back in 2010 and the other of cancer last year. Number 4. Chey Tae-won. SK Group is one of the largest companies in Korea, with interest in energy, engineering, telecommunications, and transport, just to name a few industries. The conglomerate was handed down from father Chey Jong-hyun to son Chey Tae-won. After a less than spectacular 2011, he was indicted and convicted to embezzlement of over $40 million and sentenced to 4 years in prison. He is serving time now, but the company is still appealing his sentence and he maintains his innocence. His brother, Chey Jae-woo, who many argue was not even involved with the alleged embezzlement, was also in prison for allegedly conspiring in the same crime. Number 3. Alfred Taubman. Sotheby's is a massive company. present in dozens of countries worldwide, which deals in collectibles, real estate, art, and auctioning of nice things. In the bluntest way possible, Alfred Taubman was the chairman of this company in the 1980s through to the 2000s. He took the company over in the early 80s when it had fallen on hard times. He turned things around, took the company public, and made himself over $2 billion in the process. In 2002, he was convicted for a price-fixing conspiracy carried out with another similar company. Christie's Taubman went to prison for 10 months and was fined over $7 million. Number 2. Michael Milken. This one goes back to the late 1980s, when Michael Milken, educated at Berkeley and later the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, was trading high-yield bonds at an investment bank, Drexel Burnham Lambert. In 1990, he pleaded guilty to several counts of illegal trading-related charges and ended up serving just under 2 years of jail time. Since getting out of prison, he has tried to maintain a better profile and has been active in charity work, creating foundations from think tanks to youth education groups. Number 1. Chung Mong-Koo. Chung Mong-Koo is the chairman of Hyundai, the Southern Korean automaker. As of 2015, he is worth just shy of $7 billion and is known as an obscenely hardworking, family-oriented man who remains one of the most influential figures in that country. At 77 years old, he is considered a man with the attitude of someone far younger and is probably not going to retire. Back in 2007, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for having misused corporate funds. He was in for just a couple of months, but received a pardon due to his contributions to the Korean society, in addition to his promise of further donations over $1 billion to Korean causes. Check out our other videos and remember to hit the subscribe button for more videos every week.